Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. I really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. There is a big development in the baby Emmanuel case, missing baby Emmanuel out of California, a story that I've been covering. Now, baby Emmanuel's father has pled guilty. This is the latest. Father of missing baby Emmanuel pled guilty in Riverside County, California. His name is Jake Haro. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his 7-month-old son, Emmanuel, several weeks after the boy's parents falsely reported him missing in Riverside County. You'll remember there's been searches in Riverside County. We had video of them searching near a highway. And it's been this big mystery of where baby Emmanuel is. And now, again, his father has pled guilty. Haro appeared in a Riverside courtroom today. This is according to the LA Times, where he changed his plea from not guilty to guilty. He also pleaded guilty to filing a false police report and assault of a child under 8. And that's according to the Riverside County District Attorney's Office. I'm going to have some insider information about what may be going on behind the scenes here in just a second. But let me get through the rest of sort of the latest details here. Rebecca Haro, that of course is baby Emmanuel's mother, has pleaded not guilty to murder. She remains in custody. So Jake Haro has pled guilty. Rebecca Haro still maintaining a not guilty plea. She's actually scheduled to appear in court beginning of next month. She's got a preliminary hearing, and Jake Haro is scheduled to be sentenced at the same hearing. Again, I'm going to have my guest, Kim Dagonia, who used to work in the Riverside County District Attorney's Office, who has a ton of insider info, join me in a second, and she can explain the possible sentence for Jake Haro. It's my understanding it could be 15 years to life, but I'm going to have her break that down for me in just a second when I have her join this episode. Haro is 32 years old. You remember he was arrested along with Rebecca Haro in connection to the boy's death. Initially, they claimed that he was kidnapped, and they said that someone attacked Rebecca Haro, and there was this whole made-up story. No one seemed to believe the story from the beginning. There were a lot of holes in it. There was an attorney for Jake Haro who came forward who was saying, no, he's innocent. And again, now he has pled guilty. According to the San Bernardino Sheriff's Office, Rebecca Haro said that she was attacked again in a parking lot back on August 14th. And apparently, that was all made up. Especially now that we know that Jake Haro is pleading guilty. So that is the latest. Again, a big development. Let me bring in now Kim Dagonia, California attorney and also former Riverside County prosecutor. Kim, it's good to see you again. Why do you think, and I know you've been close to this case, you have a lot of insider information. Why do you think Jake Haro pled guilty?
Well, this has kind of been his pattern. He did this on the first case with the first baby also. And I think he did something smart. He's probably worried that the district attorney's office is going to eventually uncover the truth. And if we uncover the truth or they uncover the truth, it's probably going to be heinous and it's probably going to entail another amended complaint with special circumstances that would potentially have him facing life without the possibility of parole or even subject to the death penalty. So I think that he pled to the charges as charged so that he can do away with the risk of what's to come because he knows the truth, what he did to that baby.
Do you think this has anything to do with the Perkins operation that we've reported on, where he, I shouldn't use the word confessed, but talked about his involvement to someone in the jail?
I mean, it could have to do with that, but I think it also is most likely he is the holder of the truth. He knows exactly where Baby Haro's body is. He knows how he murdered him, and I think he's probably terrified that if that information comes out, no doubt that would make his charges much greater and it would have him facing a much longer prison sentence. He did the exact same thing with his daughter the first time around. Had the district attorney's office figured it out sooner, all the bones that he had broken on that child, he would have been facing a much greater sentence. So he pled straight up to the judge, just like he did in this case, in order to avoid a harsher punishment.
Do you think that we will find out, or that the world will find out where baby Emmanuel is? Could that be part of like a deal here for his guilty plea?
I mean, it's possible, but from my understanding of what I'm reading is he pled to the judge, which means he's not working with the district attorney's office, which means he did not cut a deal with the district attorney's office to provide them any information where baby Emmanuel's body is. So I don't think that that's the motive behind it.
So this isn't like a plea deal, from what you can
Not
tell.
from what I'm reading. It says that he pled to Judge Gary Polk and he pled to all of the charges on the complaint. And if that is true, then that means he is not working with the district attorney's office. He pled to the judge.
Why did he plead guilty to second degree murder when I believe he was charged with initially with first degree murder?
So the way that the complaints typically read in Riverside is there's not a degree charged on the complaints. It's finder of fact determines whether there's premeditation or not. In this case, I believe it could have been first or second degree the way that it is currently charged.
And explain the difference between first and second degree.
Sure. I mean, the big difference is premeditation, right? If you're going to have first degree murder, the DA's office has to be able to prove that you premeditated the murder, you planned it out, versus second degree murder can just be a conscious disregard for human life. Think of DUI drunk drivers who kill children or kill people on the road after having a previous DUI. You don't have to have the intent to kill. You're just being consciously reckless, knowing your behavior could kill somebody. So that's the main difference between the two.
So do you think that prosecutors know something that led them to go with this second degree charge? Like that he didn't do this on purpose? Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, I don't think the DA's office doesn't ever really elect a charge, first or second degree. That is up to the jury to decide when you get to trial or as you go to preliminary hearing. The fact that the district attorney's office amended the complaint to add that second charge of 273 ABA, which is injury causing death of a child under the age of 8, there is an intent element in that. So it tells me the district attorney's office probably thought it was a first degree murder, but the fact that that charge is on there, it's the same sentence, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm looking back at the email that they sent out to us. This is from the district attorney's office. Jake Haro pled guilty to the court today to PC 187, 273 AB, and 148.5. So were you just talking about 273 AB? Is that
That's correct.
so? What is that? Describe that. What is that charge?
Sure, that charge is the one we talked about a couple times on your show. It's where the parent causes the death of a child under the age of 8. And that's simply all it is. If the district attorney's office can prove that Jake Haro did an act that caused baby Emmanuel's death and baby Emmanuel is under the age of 8, then he's guilty of the 273 ABA and it's a mandatory sentence scheme of 25 to life.
So a lot of people that I've seen, and this news just came out a couple hours ago, so people are just reacting on social media. A lot of what I've seen is, oh my God, like he could get out in 15 years. Is that not the case?
Can he get out in 15 years? I mean, there's all kinds of different schemes in California right now with there's elder parole, there's compassionate release. So barring none of those things happening and Jake Haro just goes through the normal sentencing structure of the prison, he will be eligible in about 85% of his time, whether it's 15 years to life or 25 years to life, eligible to have his first parole hearing, which is much different than being released from custody. If he gets 15 years to life, in about 85% of that time, if he's good in prison, he'll be eligible to sit for the parole board and explain to them why he should get out of custody early. If it's denied, then he will just keep coming back up for parole hearings for life until they either decide to let him be released or he dies in prison.
It seems, I mean, that's a long way out, but just based on how horrific the crime is and his past, it seems like, I don't know, it seems hard to think of him being eligible for parole.
It is hard to think about that. But nonetheless, the system is designed to reform and to give second chances. So it's a possibility, depending on how he behaves in prison. If he programs well, if he doesn't get in trouble, I think there's a world where he could be potentially, released on parole the first or second time around.
And he seems manipulative. I mean, I'm just thinking like it seems like he knows how to work the system.
Very much so. Very much so.
How do you think the sentencing will go?
Well, honestly, if he pled to that second charge or the third charge of 273,
Did for sure. I can tell you that for sure because I've got the. I know you're right. There's confusing stuff in some of the different news reports, but I actually have the. This is from the district attorney's office that he pled guilty to PC 187, 273 AB, and 148.5. So that's definitely official.
so then the sentencing scheme by the statute, he has to be pled to 25 years to life. That's the only thing that the judge can do. It's in the code. It says he shall be sentenced to 25 to life. So I think what's important for the viewers to remember is don't really, it's not really that big of a deal that it's second degree murder because the charge that he pled to is the most serious charge that carries the harsher punishment. So that really is where he's being punished, not on the murder charge, on the 273, the death causing, the injury causing death of an 8-year-old or under.
So, and I just want to make sure I understand you right. So you think that he pled guilty because if he did that now, before more investigation, that you think he thought that he would end up in a better, there'd be a better outcome for him?
100%. That is what I believe. Based on my understanding, based on my experience with the criminal justice system, based on his previous plea where he did the exact same thing, I think deep down he knows the truth and he knows if we all find out what it is, that the maximum sentence that he should receive, which is life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty, is a likely charge the DA's office would file against him.
Is there anything the DA can do at this point to push him to give more information?
No, no. And he's completely untouchable. Once he's sentenced, double jeopardy attaches. And even if the district attorney's office finds out these heinous facts, or even if he discloses what happened, they can't go back and recharge him.
What about Rebecca Haro? She's still maintaining her not guilty plea. I think she has a preliminary hearing the same day as his sentencing.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think this means for her? Does this mean anything for her case?
I mean, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it means a couple things. The guilty plea of Jake tells the world that he knows what happened. Once he is sentenced, if he's waived his appeal rights, it will be very interesting whether the district attorney's office tries to force him to testify in her trial down the road. Her case will go on through litigation like normal. She'll have her preliminary hearing, which will probably have some officers get on the stand and testify as to what they believe happened. Um, and then she'll go off to trial. And who the district attorney decides to call as a witness will be very interesting. Or she may decide to call Jake and he may take the rap for all of it, so she gets off. We don't know. Guess that's to be determined.
That doesn't seem like his personality, though, based
No,
on what we've seen.
yeah, no, he seems like he's, like you said, a manipulator and somebody who abuses the weak. So I wouldn't suspect that from him either.
Is there anything she can do now that he's pled guilty? Is there anything she can do to work a deal?
Yeah, the district attorney's office is always willing to negotiate and not go to trial. They're willing to listen to reasonable conclusions. If she were to come forward and tell the truth, and if the truth was that she truly wasn't involved and she led them to the body and gave them everything they needed to show what happened to baby Emmanuel, maybe it would reduce her sentence. But it doesn't seem that that's the path she wants to go down.
I wonder, I guess maybe this is a dumb question, but she probably knows that he pled guilty, right? I mean, they have access.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
She was in the courtroom.
right. That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. So when he's sentenced, will she be in the courtroom too?
Probably not. Usually the sensitive sentencings, they clear the courtroom. So I doubt that she would be in there. They'll probably call her case first, continue it or affirm the preliminary hearing, whatever they're going to do, and then they'll send her back and they'll sentence him.
If she went all the way to trial, would a jury get to know that he pled guilty?
They may. It would probably be a preliminary motion that the district attorney's office and the public defender, whoever her attorney is, argued about, and it would ultimately be the judge's decision as to what information the jury would be able to find out about
So
that.
if you were her attorney, her defense attorney, I mean, what do you think is the next move here?
Well, from what we're seeing, honestly, I would do a mental health evaluation on her and try to go down that road. There's clearly some things going on with her. I mean, she's with this guy who is a child abuser, not once, but twice. It would be very interesting to dive into their relationship and see whether there was domestic violence involved, what her thought process was, and how she came about to portray this entire lie to the world that her baby was kidnapped. I mean, that's every mom's worst fear. And she was so ready to tell this big, elaborate story. It begs the question, what is going on with her mental health? Was she coerced into it, or is she the mastermind behind the murder?
Are you surprised? One thing that struck me is when the DA sent out this information, they said there'll be no on-camera interviews. Whereas before there was that big press conference and they took questions. Are you surprised they're not talking about this? Because once he's pled guilty, I mean, it's not like he can undo it, right? Like, what would be their reasoning right now for not doing any interviews with the media or sort of explaining what's going on?
Honestly, to preserve the trial that they still have to put on with her, right? They still have to prove to the world her case, how she's guilty, separate and apart from Jake Haro. And while I'm sure they're wanting to give information to the public, they simply have to preserve the integrity of the trial that they still have that's on the path of preliminary hearing and is still actively in litigation. So their hands really are tied, I think, in that regard.
Did this surprise you?
His plea?
Plea, yeah.
No, it didn't surprise me one bit.
Do you think it surprised the DA's office?
I think probably some people in the DA's office it's surprised, but those of us who are seasoned and have done so many of these trials know it's a very smart strategic strategy on this defendant's part, knowing he knows the truth, what he did, and he knows what he's facing if we all find out the truth. So I think it was smart and strategic. And I think those of us who have seen enough of these homicides wouldn't be surprised by it one bit.
Do you have any new information or any indication? I guess my big question, which I think most people is big question, and just thing that still bothers me so much about this case is where baby Emmanuel is.
Mhm.
Are they getting any closer?
I have heard they are not getting any closer at all. And what Jake had indicated in this Perkins op was that the baby's body went out, or in statements in jail somewhere, that the baby's body went out to waste management. And I don't know that we'll ever find his body there, which I think it's going to haunt everyone.
Is there any, is it just too late now? If that's the case, that's what actually happened.
I mean, yeah, we're talking how many months now? And I think there was seven or six different landfills that trash can could have gone to. So you're talking about 2 months worth of trash piling on top of that trash wherever it was taken. And that's even if that was the correct time frame of when he went missing. There was reports, I think, early on that he could have potentially gone missing 3 weeks before that, before Rebecca made this ridiculous report. So
Do you think they're able to have any kind of communication, Rebecca and Jake?
I mean, they're not supposed to, but you see inmates being able to make contact in the craziest ways. So it wouldn't surprise me if they are. I've seen them make contact in court together when they're sitting there. I've seen them make contact when they're going out of court into the Sally Port to go back down into the jail. They'll both be sitting there talking. We've seen what they call kites, which are little written notes passed in between inmates through court. So I'm sure they're finding a way to communicate.
I guess I'm just wondering if there's some kind of behind the scenes scheme going on between the two of them. Like, could this somehow be organized? I'm going to plead guilty and then you do that, you know?
Yeah, I've not seen that in my career very often. It's usually what you said. The manipulator and the heavy hitter is the one who's out for themselves, which I think is Jake in this case. And he proved that today.
Do the lawyers ever communicate? Like, would the lawyer for a husband ever communicate with the lawyer for a wife to try to
Oh, for sure.
plan together how to handle it?
For sure. Yes.
Do you think that's happening?
I don't know. It's possible, but I would think that they were going to continue on in litigation if they were working together. The fact that one came in today and said, I'm pleading guilty, I'm getting this over and done with, tells me that they're probably not working together on a defense.
Anything else that stands out to you? since we last spoke?
No, I mean, I really think Jake knows exactly how heinous this murder is, and he's terrified of us finding out. And that's why he pled to these charges today, the way he did.
That was the motivation.
I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, it
And that's
seems.
my own personal take based on
Yeah.
all the years I've been doing this, but 25 to life with the possibility to get out of custody, which is what he has, right? If he convinces a parole board in 15 years, 18 years, he can get out versus life without the possibility of parole or death row. I I think that's was his motivation.
Well, I appreciate you, Kim. Thank you so much.